Hey, I tried doing this on the DSLR for an audio and it wouldn't patch through. So the audio's gonna be bad, but it is what it is. Okay, couple things I did. For a word, some people will ask what system am I running this on. I'm using an Asus, and this is the 500L. It has an i7 5500 with a 3 gigahertz, and it's 8 gigs of RAM with 1 terabyte hard drive. So it's just a regular old computer. The other thing I've done is I went into command line and I did net.exe and then stop and then parentheses, and I'll put it down below, Windows search, and that will help with arming your system and making it run better. Helps tremendously. Okay, this is an image I edited earlier last time I was messing with this, and that's kind of what we came up with. You just go to revert to original, and we're back there. So I'm just going to edit these 5. I'm just going to edit them and kind of tell you kind of how I'm editing them as I go. And like sometimes things won't work out. Now everything that I'm using today comes out of the box in this program. I'm not using any of my own editing ideas. I'm not using my own skies, anything like that. Okay, so let's just start with this. I'll tell you what, let's go down to Dramatic Sunset. Let's see what this does. It's been a while since I've done some of these. We'll make that work. Okay, now here's one of the very first things I do after I do that. I crank it, relight up. I crank up global both to all the way, and I crank the blending up all the way. Now that's 200. As you can see, it pretty much just fries the image for now. Okay, now we're going to go to enhance. I push this up around 80, and that was a little overkill. Let's put this back down to about 70. Not bad, not bad. Now we're going to hit structure. I usually go up to about 50, but I think it's going to kill it. Yeah, it's killing it. Okay. Now, typically, I like to go hit your highlights, especially when I'm in Lightroom, by the way. I like to just bring them all the way over, and then kick the shadows all the way. We'll see what it does. That's actually not too bad. Let's crank them down a little bit though, because usually it's overkill in this program. And I'm a contrast guy. I love contrast. So we have that. This is nothing that I would send to a contest, but it's not too bad for just a quick edit. Maybe sharpen it up just a tad. And these are quick edits. These are not me really focusing. Now, ID noise, I like to set around 35 on both of these. That's kind of my sweet spot. And then we're just going to hit some vignetting. And there's where we are. There's where we began. This is just a panel picture. Nothing special. The only thing I would think about, I might think about cropping this image. There's the edited one. I would think about cropping it maybe right here. Let's see what that looks like. I forgot, I gotta go into free, and then we come over here. I don't look too bad, and you hit done. I'm not a crop guy, the get it right in camera crap. Yeah, I'm one of those type of guys. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, this one's going to be interesting because I want to make this a nighttime. I want to make this look like it was shot in the middle of the night. I am not a make it look like it was when you saw it type of guy. I'm a fine art guy. My job is to make a cool image, not necessarily make it look like it did when I shot it. And especially because when I'm shooting with my drone, you can't shoot late at night because noise will just be horrendously bad with them. So, that's not an issue. And with me, I want to create an image. I don't care about what it looked like when I shot it. So we're going to start with Starry Night 2, which is one of theirs in there. And we're going to see, okay, definitely different than the original. So we're going to hit this up to 100 like we always do. We're going to hit these up to 100. This all the way over to, okay. And this is okay. Having it look like this right now is actually okay. I know it doesn't look good, but it will. So now we're going to go to the AIs. Again, we're going to hit up in the 80 range. Okay, now we're going to head down and see what we can. Let's try this at 40, whatever, 44. Not too bad. Let's boost this up to about 20. This is obviously going to look HDR, which is cool. That's what I do. So I don't mind that at all. Let's just see what this looks like. It does take a little bit to process some of these images, which, it is what it is. I'm cool with that. Just sharpen, let's hit that at 10. Again, we're going to denoise at 30-ish. 30 to 40 and denoise is kind of where my sweet spot is. And then we're going to hit some vignetting. If I can get it on the bar. There we go. Okay, so there we are. The one thing I will show you some cool stuff you can do with this is this kind of a cool image. You can have a matinee look. We'll just kind of show the kind of a faded look. It's kind of cool. The other thing you can hit some of these logs, and you can just. The cool thing about this program is it will actually show you as you file through it. It'll give you a preview live, kind of what it would look like. And so these are kind of cool. 60s is kind of interesting. Kind of cool just to play with. And the fog is you got to do some major work to make it look right. So that's a kind of a cool look. Now let's go with this. The purpose of this image, let me just forewarn you. This tree is going to get fried. It's not a good image. I blew it out tremendously, but there's a reason I want to show you this image. Yeah, it was shot at 1/80th of a second, f3.5 and at 100. There's a reason that I want to show you this image, and you're going to see why here in a minute. The next image is important. I put it in context of this image. This bridge is what's important in this image. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and edit it and see what we can do with it. Okay, let's get started with the sky replacement. I always start there because that's going to be the big factor. That's not what I was looking for. Okay, hit the wrong button, but that's okay. And yeah, that's not too bad, but that ain't gonna work. Let's hit the sunset too, and let's just see what it does. Okay, that's kind of cool. But like I said, you can already see that tree being blown out and just being fried. And you're going to see it more and more as I try and edit this. But the purpose of this picture is not to really do much with it but to give you the context of the next picture, which is a million times better. Okay, and let's just go around getting. Like I said, that picture is mainly to give you the context of this next picture. This is the picture that I want to spend some time on. This is one of my favorite pictures to edit. I just love this picture. This picture is, this is just a great picture. Okay, and that was that same bridge. In fact, I shot that same. I'm standing at the very same spot when I shot both of these pictures. I just had switched the lenses. We're going to go ahead and go back to that Sunset 2 that I used on the other one, just for a matter of shooting this, making it look like the same. Okay, so we're going to hit Relight, we're going to hit Global, and we're going to hit the blending all the way up, like we always do. Now let's head over here. We're going to start with Enhance, crank that, and as you can see, we're already getting a whole new world opened up to us. That's overkill. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so now we're going to go into Light. If I can get my mouse to connect to the buttons. Do a little contrast here. It's not too bad. Let me show you the original. This is the original image. Okay, this is actually a series of images that were shot in HDR, but this is the base image. There it is edited. There it is original. It just looks like a good. I mean, it looks like a good image, but it's, as far as composition, that's it. And then there's the edited. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go down and sharpen it up just a bit. Okay, it looks pretty good. Now we got to hit that denoise up in the 30s. Okay. Now for an image like this, you can check. You'd be tempted to do the landscape enhancer. Let me show you why you don't want to do landscape enhancer. This is what it's going to look like dehazed. Okay, it doesn't work. Let's try golden hour. Doesn't work. Let's, foliage enhancer. This should work, right? No, it doesn't. So none of those actually work. Okay, so I don't typically use the landscape enhancer, to be quite honest with you. And there we go. We could go in and, there's a couple things we could do. I could go in and let's just go in here for humor. That's all this will be. And see what it does. Then there you go. There you have a mountain in Kansas. You have mountains in Kansas, but that's what you can do with there. And you can go through, and I've already kind of showed you some of this stuff. You could add textures if you had a texture. I don't use textures. And you could, like I said, the fog just doesn't work on this program like I'd like it to. But hey, this is a pretty solid image. This is something you could put out there and be proud of. And so let's hit this last image. And let's go over here and let's get some. Okay, first of all, let's start with the enhance. Okay. nothing too much. Okay, now we're kind of getting there. Let's crank down these highlights. Let's crank up these shadows a little bit. Let's put some contrast into this. And yeah, there's not a lot to edit on this, to be honest. Sharpen it up a little bit. And he's nice and sharp. And let's just do some vignetting. Okay, like I said, this is not a Photoshop. This is not Lightroom. It is very good at what it does, but it doesn't do a lot of things. So instead of complaining about what it doesn't do, let's celebrate what it does do, because what it does do, it does extremely well. So that's just me messing around with a couple images that I have. Just that one that I really like to edit. That one I just really I love that image. I've edited 100 different ways probably. And that's just a cool image. And kind of go from there, kind of show you some things you can do with this. And some of just kind of the settings I reach for. You know, even this image, you know, when I look at it, it's blown out. But what you can often do is turn it into a black and white, which, you know, it is what it is. We'll see if it works. It may or may not. It doesn't. And then you just hit Control Z and you're right back to whatever you last did. So, you know, like I said, I really like this program. I use it almost every day. And it'll get me it does about 80% of what I need to do. I could do all of this in Lightroom and Photoshop, but it would take me 10 times as long. Okay, so that's just that. I just want to go ahead and answer that anyways. And if you have any questions, let me know.